Ladies and gentlemen, boys and grills, welcome to the Warhammer 40K Humour podcast, episode 3, where we talk about things that you want us to talk about and some things you probably don't want us to talk about, but you're here all the same, so may as well get on with the introductions. I'm Sneaky Beaky, your current host and resident Raven Guard player. Next, we have Aegis Imperio.
Hi guys, I'm Aegis Imperio, Titan admin of the Warhammer 40K Discord, and my favorite's Titans, but since they're expensive, my army would be Deathwatch.
Alright, next we have Inquisitor 023.
I was going to say something witty, but now I'm pondering, does orc nipples fall into what they want us to talk about or not? And I really don't know if I want to know the answer.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Let's never find out.
Next we got Tiberius.
Hello, I am Tiberius, currently the Reclusiarch and residing moderator on the Discord channel. As for the moment, I'm nerding out on not probably so much Warhammer related stuff, but I will try to relate, and I'm still iffed that US submarines look like sausages.
They do indeed, and it's not game, it's underway. And last, but most certainly not least, we have Chaos Wife.
Hey y'all, I'm Chaos Waifu. I am the token female, and I'm here to make everyone feel uncomfortable with my lack of knowledge.
Yay!
Yeah, gender quotas!
Also, she could be the least if you're referring to height.
Yes, I'm... No, actually, wait.
Nope, don't do it.
Wait, no, Aegis.
Small
Come
exists.
On, you brought up height.
Small
taller
exists.
than me, though.
You brought this up. Small is 5'7".
Look,
Small's
small
taller than
might...
me.
Small has physical height, but in terms of just moral height, she's fucking underground. Probably, literally.
Small person.
Chaos. So is Chaos, if we're being honest with ourselves.
I live in a cave.
Wow. Sure, okay.
Ooga booga caveman.
I like that I'm the only one that didn't think to, spiel off who I was.
So today...
Alright. Go ahead.
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about lore. So, we decided not to have so much a specific focus, because that could kind of get, I guess, exhausted pretty quickly and heavy. Yeah, because not everyone here is at the same level as everyone. So I think today what we're going to do is just talk about our favorite stuff, and if stuff crops up, we'll talk about that. So, let's talk about our favorite factions. Like, cool shit about that faction, new developments, anything like that.
We get to bring back cynical old man Inky, I can't wait.
In my age!
So, just because they're almost two separate universes, not really, but are we doing Horus Heresy or current? Because Horus Heresy factions are totally different from current. Or are we just doing...
Let's go current, because with 8th Ed kind of helping shake things up, I think it's probably pretty worthwhile if we maybe give some people who are maybe new to the hobby little flashpoints they might want to look at if they wanted to dig deeper. I think that's a good idea.
Alright, sounds good.
Fun fact though, something to preface everything, if you are looking to get more into your 40k fluff, 2 recommendations for you. 1d4 Chan is great, because it puts everything in a nice, palatable, easy to read style. And then if you find something you particularly like, head on over to the 40k Wikia. Lexicanum used to be really great. I don't think it is anymore. I like the Wikia. That's a really good way to find out your fluff.
May I pitch in with a recommendation as well?
Go for it.
Vaults of Terra on YouTube, if you're looking for some sort of a background podcast, audiobook, kind of a lore presentation of stuff. As mentioned, Vaults of Terra on YouTube.
And
Alright,
text-to-speech device, Alphabusa. Can't forget that.
Of course, but if we're doing recommendations, I'm actually going to recommend a book. I'd say the Commissar Kane series. It's really good. It introduces you to the normal human, so it's a bit more relatable, while also kind of exposing you to the different cultures and factions that the character Caiaphas Kane encounters.
And it's basically Blackadder in space, and that should be enough reason to sell you that book.
That really should be. No, TTS is
great.
best for bringing someone in, I think. From experience. So
the only downside is it because obviously everything is canon in TTS, and there's a little bit of fanon mixed in.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, draw from many sources, you know. It's your best bet.
Yeah, but if you're just trying to, like, get somebody, like engaged, like, right away, like, TTS is fun and cute. So.
TTS is great.
Yeah.
So I would say if we want to start off with favorite factions, I want to hear our resident chaos person in her spiel. Because, I mean, if you're here to make us uncomfortable, do your best, you dirty heretic.
So, Chaos Wife, your favorite faction is Thai, right? Uncomfortable silence.
Yeah. It's 1,000 Suns. And that's half because I love Magnus and TTS, and half because I love...
Cracking open a cold one with the boys. Damn.
Did you hear that?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why she loves Beaky's Magnus thing. I bet that's like a thing they do. She's like, honey, talk to me like your Magnus voice.
Put on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Surprisingly not, actually, no.
Well, we've given her ideas.
Or are you? Honey, can you paint your whole body red this evening? I want to try roleplay.
How can I get you to have one eye?
I need to get horns to put on his chest.
Oh, there's costume shops. It's easily managed.
You're picking like the least difficult bit to resolve. Horns are easy.
I want you to try and pin him down and glue horns to his nipples, Inky.
Alcohol.
I thought you were about to say I want you to dress up like Mike. I was like, what?
I don't think it'd be that hard. Just slip him a roofie and let him sleep with his favorite Shrike pillow. I mean, that's like his waifu, right?
Okay. Hang on. Right. The podcast does not encourage the roofing of anyone, and we distance ourselves from those statements.
It does not. Absolutely
not. We can neither confirm nor deny.
No, we can deny.
We deny harm.
You didn't deny the Shrike pillow, though.
No, I mean, that's a given.
No, I mean, that's just common knowledge. But...
Do not use drugs, kids.
Yeah.
He's bad, okay?
So, 1,000 Suns. Moving this along.
1,000 Suns, yes. But I love the aesthetic. I love Egypt. So.
The Egyptian theme is pretty cool, I'll give you that.
Tomb Kings in space, except that's the Necrons now.
Yeah, but I've never played a game. I've only read one book and watched TTS, so like I said, I'm about to make everybody uncomfortable with my complete lack of knowledge.
Well, you can learn alongside everyone else.
Yes.
Did you know it's actually
of the normal populace?
There's a theory that the Blood Ravens are the only loyalist successor chapter to the Thousand Sons. All their history has been completely wiped. And they're always trying to find out about their history, but what they're finding
is... they're loyalists, then.
Well...
I mean, Blood Ravens are debatable,
think about this.
When you steal from the Adeptus Custodians...
I don't even... Where is that in the second game? Where do you see all their stolen gear? Cause...
Second game.
Okay.
Second game, yeah.
But, basically, they have more psychers than any other chapter. It just seems to somehow be a part of their gene seed. So, what with their completely redacted history, they have no record of it, and all the psychers, people think maybe the Inquisition scrubbed some of their history so that they could keep being loyal. And yes, they steal things, but I mean, if you play the games, they do usually fight. Sometimes their choices, mainly Gabriel's, are questionable, but...
Sneaky, stop wrestling your microphone.
I was gonna say, what are you doing?
I was trying to get up and turn on my fan.
They're usually trying to do what they think is good, and, yeah, they have stolen a lot of shit, but usually the theory is it's because they're trying to figure out their past. And also, some of it they think is just taken from the bodies of the fallen.
Why don't they just get the Ultramarines on it then? Like, task the Ultramarines. No, task the Ultramarines with whatever.
But they're too busy being pure and noble and the greatest of them all. Why would they concern themselves with lesser chapters?
Because we
Not
cannot
the sons
be asked.
of Rowboat Girly Man.
Because we cannot be asked. Best regards, local Ultramarines fanboy.
I think Sons of Gilliman is actually a key word on certain character profiles now, if I remember correctly.
Possibly.
I think I saw that, and I actually had like a moment of internal rage, like fucking Smurfs.
Vaguely to follow up on what Aegis was saying, there is actually some support for the idea of the Blood Ravens being Thousand Sun Descents in the Horus Heresy books. As I recall, once Catachan went back to Prospero after the burning, he bumps into like the last living Thousand Sun that wasn't teleported out. And he's either part of one of his brotherhoods or his name relates to Corvid, which is Raven, and something to do with his armor. And the implication is that his gene seed would go on to be the one that kind of founded the Blood Ravens. Kind of just a tenuous link, but a little bit supporting of it. Just
also with the risk of doing a 10-year-old grade deduction, the original Thousand Suns color scheme was red. The Blood Ravens color scheme is red. So
they go really fast.
Illuminati confirmed.
Exactly.
That's how they steal all their
We
things.
did it. We solved the mystery. Blood
They
Ravens
learned
are
from
orcs.
the orcs. Red is fast. Loot all the things.
Oh my god, the Blood Ravens are orcs. Calm down, Sneaky. We'll manage it later.
I should.
I was gonna say, in order to prevent your reeing, would you like to confirm the obvious and let us know what your favorite faction is, Sneaky?
Well, Raven Guard, obviously.
Duh.
In case that wasn't a surprise. In case that was a surprise, let me inform you about what a Beaky helmet is, for those of you who may be entirely new to 40k.
As he says, sitting next to miniatures with Beaky helmets.
Fuck off.
I will not.
No.
I don't have a problem, you have a problem.
Shut up. No, so okay, the Raven Guard is, in my opinion, one of the most sensible Space Marine chapters. They are, I wouldn't say camouflaged, but they do wear, dark colors. Their armor, I should know, as noted in the Shrike novel, is actually light absorbent rather than light reflective. So if you've ever seen that blackest black thing, it's like carbon nanotubes that are grown, and it absorbs light, and it looks like a shadow. That's
it's so
3D.
dark. It's amazingly dark.
Are you talking about that paint, the flattest,
inappropriately
mattest black?
that it's so
Yeah,
dark.
and it looks like it's like an actual shadow just given form.
Oh
That
yeah,
is in
Vanta
canon
Black.
how Raven Guard armor looks like.
They actually painted one of those horse masks and just showed you how dark it is. That was like their example on their webpage. It's pretty funny,
Oh
actually.
yes, the Vanta Black thing.
Yeah, but that is in canon what Raven Guard armor looks like, so they inherently are a little stealthy. Their doctrine also supports this. They also place heavy emphasis on scouts being, scouts and not meat shields like they are in the Black Templars.
Also,
In addition to this... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
and also a rather increased implication and use of Camellia line, in addition to their armor.
Yes.
Camellia line is
for those of you who don't know. Sorry.
Yes.
So,
Tell the
go
ignorant
ahead.
masses like myself.
Camellia line is basically, camo netting that tries to mimic your surroundings and appearance. Basically,
Pretty much.
Okay.
Raven Guard also use a lot of fast attack stuff, like a lot of jump assault. They make use of a lot of lightning claws. Drop pods are really popular. Aerial assaults are also incredibly popular. Not so much things like tanks, devastators. Dreadnoughts are a little uncommon, although they do exist. They just prefer to strike from above, strike fast, and exfil just as quickly. And I personally find that to be a really fun tactic to not only read and write about, but also just to play, quite frankly. And strike some badass.
well, I just want to say about the dreadnoughts, that's never really been a tactic thing. That's taking one of your brothers and trying to keep them alive. So I think everyone kind of has at least some of them, because it's never really been about them following. It's their tactics. It's about keeping that brother alive and keeping his legacy and his knowledge. Some dreadnoughts get really, really fucking old. Like the oldest like living space marine is can't remember his name, but the Space Wolf dreadnought.
Yeah,
yes, Bjorn.
He's the oldest in the dreadnought. The oldest living is Dante, and also wrong because the White Scars detest it and go out of their way specifically to avoid letting their brothers be put into dreadnoughts because they feel they need to move on to the afterlife.
Oh, I didn't know that, but I mean that would be that chapter specific, right? I mean,
but that's
everyone
what I mean.
else.
Like it does relate to their tactics and their beliefs.
The general idea behind dreadnoughts is some sort of character and knowledge preserving in some sort of way. And
you're too useful to die.
Yeah,
but it depends on the chapters and everything else.
White Scars obviously do not want to keep people grounded, and if you're dying, then they're letting you on to the afterlife. And if you're still alive and kicking,
Emperor Dreadnought,
where you can ride
Golden
shiny
Throne
and
Emperor
chrome.
Because you cannot go over 200 miles an hour in a dreadnought.
Or can you?
Sadly.
You haven't tried hard enough. Trust me, my brothers have tried.
I mean, do you see how they made that American robot for the American-Japan robot fight? It basically looks like a dreadnought almost, except it's got treads instead of feet.
Right, so now we're gonna find a cripple to stick inside the thing.
God damn, dude.
The podcast does not encourage shoving cripples into robotics.
No.
But imagine how cool he becomes. He pilots a giant robot.
I'm not denying it could be cool, but I'm saying we don't encourage it. We need to be legally not liable here.
Fine.
Plausible deniability, gentlemen. Plausible deniability. We'll just edit this out.
This isn't going to be edited out. We're too lazy for that.
If we edited out everything offensive we said, I think it'd be like a 5-minute podcast of mostly silence.
Hi, and welcome to the podcast. Bleep, 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 bleep. Hi, and we're talking about this subject. Bleep.
Pretty much.
Yep.
So, Aegis, you did actually mention your favorites Deathwatch outside of Titans.
Yes, Deathwatch are my favorite because when I first came to 40K, it was actually Imperial Guard were my thing, because to me, Space Marines were boring. They're supposed to be knights, but all I really knew was the Ultramarines being the poster boys. It's like rah Space Marines, and it was so boring. And then I remember I got a hold of a short story, and it was about some Deathwatch trying to take out these orcs that had this machine, and what it did was it collected like orc brains and made a weird boy like even more potent. But basically, the big part of the story was these Deathwatch. There was a Space Wolf, which they hate psychers, and then there was a librarian. I believe he was from the Ultramarines, unfortunately. But what was cool was he hated this librarian so much, like didn't care if he died, but the librarian was still trying to save the Space Wolf, like whenever, and the Space Wolf, like by the end of the short story, like begrudgingly kind of accepted him, and it was like, wow, the Deathwatch kind of take all the Space Marine chapters and it takes their strengths and makes, because all of them have some sort of like flaw. They all have like a strength, a tactic, and a flaw, and so it took the Space Wolf and his strength and his courage, and it took the librarian's cunning, and just all their negative traits went away, and at the end they just complemented each other. And I really liked it was how the Space Marines were intended to be, where they come together as a whole rather than these fragmented tactic specific units that we have today.
Yeah, the Deathwatch is pretty dope, and kind of pretty much what the Imperium needs at times. I don't know that story, though, so I might have to look into that.
It was a short story. I actually think it's in the Space Marine Omnibus, which is a collection of Space Marine short stories.
I'm triggered
and it'll tell
by
you
that word.
Omnibus or Space Marine?
Omnibus.
Omnibus.
What's wrong with Omnibus?
Oh my god,
You're
no.
triggered by Omnibus?
We can
Just
call it.
want to know.
We can call it a multi-bus
There is a
instead.
very.
I mean, I kind of do, but I don't want to consume the podcast with it. But it's a...
Tune in next week and you might find out why
Protestant
there's an issue.
school, not Catholic
Okay.
school. Protestant
Well,
school. Holy
it's just a
fuck.
collection of Space Marine stories, and it would give like the chapter name, and in Deathwatch's case it said Deathwatch, and it'd be just a short story about that, and then you just went to the next one. And but Really recommend it. It had some good Chaos Space Marine stories as well. I learned more about the Iron Warriors and how they're kind of like Chaos God agnostic. They're full chaos, undivided. Well, the one story was pretty interesting. They basically went to some Chaos planet where all the Chaos Legions gathered just for like some stadium fight for honor and whatnot. And there's no honor amongst Chaos.
It's hard to redeem the Iron Warriors when they have Hansu, that sick fuck.
Not familiar with Hansu.
Don't Google Hansu. Don't Google that sick fuck.
Edgy warsmith guy from the Iron Warriors. Sorry, Chaos fans.
He did some legitimately kind of fucked up shit in a novel. It was not good.
Are you referencing to the thing with?
Yes, the thing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep. No, okay. Don't Google Hansu.
Nope.
That is your official do not Google for the day. Do not Google that sick fuck. This is an official warning from the Imperial Inquisition.
No, blue waffles are sanctioned.
In the effort to distract you, I'm going to ask what your favorite thing is, but knowing what it is, I'm reluctant. So, Tib, tell me more about why you're wrong.
Now to upset the entire Warhammer community that actually follows us. Hi, I'm an Ultramarines fanboy.
Boo! Boo!
Oh god.
Remain upset. Your tears are delicious. But how did I become a fan of the Ultramarines? I think it has mainly to do with most of the. I got all the. I forgot his name. Uriel Ventris, that guy. I got his novels, and it was a good insight on Space Marines versus regular people interaction. And I also liked Roman theme, of course. I'm a huge sucker for Roman themes with marble and the helmet brooms and all that stuff. The game Space Marine, released in 2011, was my introduction to Warhammer as a hobby overall. And I thought Titus was the coolest guy ever to walk on the planet.
Titus.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, I get sort of the whole criticism thing of Ultramarines at times, especially with he who shall not be named writing things in the way he does, lore-wise, and I can occasionally feel that, come on, this doesn't really feel like, how to put it, believable enough, or how to put it. But mostly I like Ultramarines because of, to summarize it, aesthetics, appearances, and characters, mainly.
Well, I mean, that's not difficult when they get all of them. I'm not better.
Most of the factions have some sort of a poster thing. The Chaos Space Marines have the Black Legion. I cannot speak for the Tau or the Eldar. Most of the appearance of it. I know there's several different kind of high fleets for the Tyranids, but there's always these white and purplish ones that always gets represented. So most of the factions get a poster boy in one way or another. I mean, Cadians for the Imperial Guard, for God's sakes.
Well, and that's the thing, though, is that now they're going to have to find a new poster boy for the Imperial Guard, because the Cadians are kind of going towards the extinct side.
No, not really.
It's an active war zone still, believe it or not. Even
ignoring that, the Cadians were the principal colony unit of the Imperium. 95% of planets are colonized by Cadians, so there's a hell of a lot of people running around with violet eyes. And because of the fact that the planet got kaboomed, there's now the Orphans of Cadia, and everyone's pissy. There's still plenty of Cadians kicking about that can be, the poster boys, but I think there's going to be room for more regiments to rise up and get a bit of screen time.
Considering that it actually states in the lore that a lot of Cadian regiments were away from planet side, so the Cadians are still around and kicking in some force or another, and pissing off the Cadians are generally a bad idea. So
yeah, I mean, pretty much you can't swing a cat without hitting a Cadian is the idea.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I guess I'm the only one left to really say anything.
Go for it.
So, I'm gonna be the useless one. I like everything that isn't Tyranids. So
That's not a choice.
no, I know, but I'm leading in. I'm leading in. Don't worry.
Okay.
So as I mentioned in the last podcast, I mostly do a lot of like the custom stuff. So, like for around 10 years, I've been doing like 40k roleplay, which was something I was asked in the comments, and I guess we'll do another time. But like because of that, I have just this shitload of custom fluff. In terms of like real stuff, I'm very much Imperium favored. So I love my guard because I love my regular humans trying to do things that Space Marines can't. I love my Imperial Knights.
And sometimes doing them.
Yeah, exactly. It takes a lot of them, but they do it. I love my Imperial Knights because I love that kind of. I love the concept of this character drama of people trying to get away from these really stifling traditions and also fuck huge battle suits. But I started and have always had a soft spot for Space Marines. More specifically, the White Scars. You can probably tell why I'm going to be cynical old man Inky today. So yeah, I mean, for me, it's I guess if I had to give an answer, I would say
yay, story time.
Yep, story time with Inky.
Time with Inky.
I need to get that sound bit isolated so I can start my web show, story time with Inky. Yep. Expect a Patreon soon. That'll be going in the description. Yeah. So for me, it's the White Scars. The reason being, I rolled them at random. I was making my custom chapter and using the Death Watch roleplay rules, and so I randomly rolled White Scars and just went, I guess they fit, and I was kind of upset because well, they're White Scars, who cares? They just gotta go fast. And then I started reading about Catachan, and I started reading about the White Scars and their culture and the fact that they appear as savages, but they really don't want to be, so they go out of their way to do culture like calligraphy and poetry and shit. And they actually kind of don't get on with the Space Wolves because they actually are savages and enjoy it, and they're like, that's not the point. Catachan was really kind of much wiser than he let on, and he was sensible about the librarians and everything. It's like, I have managed to wind up in the best legion, so I'm very happy about this. Yeah, take that tip. Fuck your spiritual leech.
Well, at least we're knowing who's getting the freshest releases.
Can I, just because I have an actual chapter that I really, really fucking like, and the only reason I don't like them for tabletop is their color scheme.
Okay.
It's the Imperial Fist, because, if go ahead, laugh, fortify.
No, why would we laugh?
Chaos
I did giggle.
No, I know, but
Dorn was really, really fatherly, and I mean, in Emperor Text-to-Speech, he's kind of real literal, but honestly, he was what I felt one of the most sincere Primarchs. There's a really it gave me chills. It's part of the Last Phoenix omnibus. Haha, chaos. It's a short story about some Imperial Fists who are a fleet to back up the Istvan. Was it 3 or 5 where the massacre occurred? And
there was a massacre on both of them. That's the issue.
Oh, God. Well, it goes back and forth between the fleet that gets kind of cut off, and they're expecting Chaos to come attack them, and it goes back to Dorn and his first company captain, Sigismund. And Sigismund is calling him father, Dorn calls him son. I've read some other Primarch interactions, and it's they might say that on occasion, but it's usually more rhetoric, whereas Dorn was using it regularly in all of his, my son, he really had that relationship. And normally Dorn is just really cool, but what I read, he was a total dick, and it just caught me off guard, blew my mind. So Sigismund is with Dorn on Terra, helping fortify for the expected onslaught of chaos to come, and Sigismund has something eating at him, and he just hasn't told Dorn. And basically, Dorn asked him, why didn't you take control of the fleet I sent to Istvan? And initially he tells him, "Oh, I felt like I was needed more here." But later he comes to Dorn, and sorry if I'm like stealing, but like story time, but he comes to Dorn, he's like, "So it's true, I did feel like I was needed more here, but there's something else." And Dorn's like, "Go on." He's like, there was this woman who, if you read the first 3 heresy books, it's the Saint Euphrates Keeler. And this is in Horus Heresy time, so religion is bad. But he says the Saint Euphrates Keeler came to me and said everything was going to be destroyed, and I had to make a choice. And I chose to stand with you. And Dorn says, "You've betrayed me. In your heart, you were a heretic because you believed in religion, and that is against the express permission of the Emperor. You allowed superstition into your heart. You've completely failed me." And this is coming from the man who called him son, and he called him father. So Sigismund, like, he just falls to his knees, offers his sword, and he's like, "My life is yours. I'm no traitor. Just kill me." And Dorn takes the sword, and instead of beheading him, he just slams the sword like 3 feet into the earth next to his head. And he's like, "No, you have to live knowing that I no longer care for you. You're dead to me, but you can never tell anyone what's happened this day. You must continue to carry on with your duties, but ultimately you're dead to me." Just being a total fucking no sympathy for Sigismund at all. And for those who don't know, Sigismund was actually the founder of the Black Templars, the ones who believe in religion. He believed in the Saint Euphrates Keeler and are just fucking raving lunatics that are... And basically, Sigismund was one of the best sword fighters in all the Imperium, and the Black Templars basically started from his like desire to redeem himself for failing his Primarch.
So that's why they're on a non-stop crusade.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. It was Fall. I'm looking it up because I did remember reading this. Keeler told him he would die unremembered at Fall, and he basically sent someone instead. And yeah. Basically, yeah, pretty much how it was. And he remained, he ended up the Emperor's champion at the Battle of Terra. But funny enough, because he didn't go, Perturabo made misassumptions and actually won, essentially, Fall. So, it was the right choice in the end.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I mean, a lot of the Primarchs are pretty solid. Really, each of them has their flaws. I actually don't hate Guilliman. I'm going to forever give Tib abuse about liking Ultramarines, but I do like 30k Ultramarines. I do like Guilliman. Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
Well,
I think that's...
30K
You mean the
anymore.
traitor who made another Imperium? What?
Yes.
Locked up the library so no one could find out? I actually did like that. That was pretty sneaky of him. He's like, "Oh, fuck, close the library. No one could go in."
Yeah, like I said, he's not a good dude, but I like that he meant... Well, he actually, compared to the vast majority of Primarchs, actually built stuff. He actually built a culture as well.
He was a society builder.
Yeah.
He was both a war leader and a politician in his own rights, because he wanted to generally have an easy base for people to live and prosper in, because it was basically what the Emperor had told him, that your purpose is to provide and protect for humanity. So he like, okay, I shall do this then.
Yeah, I mean, I will defend Catachan until my fucking dying breath, because no one ever gives him any love, and the White Scars don't get any love either, and I'm forever better. So yeah, I guess I can lead into that, but it will be about 30 minutes of me ranting.
I'm sure the White Scars will have a renaissance again.
No, they won't, because I can go into their 8th ed fluff and I'm not fucking happy. But more importantly, we have a surprise guest, I guess.
We do.
Hello!
Who that?
Hello, Stevicus.
Oh, that new
Hi.
phone.
Oh, I see, yeah. Hi guys, how's it going? Sorry I'm late.
Doing good, Stevie.
okay.
So, just to catch you up, we've all been talking about our favorite factions and like why we love them so much.
We're talking lore. And conveniently enough, you would think we planned this, but we're not that far ahead. we've all finished talking. So, Stevie, who is your favourite faction in 40k and why?
Oh, okay. So my favourite faction, I'm sure it's a tough question for all of you guys as well. It's probably the Astra Militarum, specifically the Astra Militarum. Sorry,
you're in the guard, son.
You're in the guard,
Astra
son.
Militarum.
Yeah, I say that just so the kids lay off me. But so I've always been a Catachan fan. They didn't really get that much love in New Lore, but I think they're my favourite. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because they're just oiled, muscular men.
Everyone's Rambo. Every single one of them.
That's it. I mean, basically their models. I think in 6th edition it probably was.
If you want a good book with them, have you read Pandorax?
No.
I'll just recommend that. I'll send it to you later, but continue.
Well, basically, their models didn't have any armor on. They were like shirtless or in these vests and like showing off their abs. But they still had the same armor. So the justification was that they just had rock hard skin and muscles that could deflect bullets as much as Kevlar could. And something in a big oiled muscular man excited this 14-year-old boy. And I've been a fan ever since.
Fair enough. That's an answer I didn't expect. I don't. Catachan doesn't get enough love, even though I'm pretty.
They don't, do they? I mean,
I think we're
Space Marine chapter. It's probably Space Marines. I mean, obviously, salamanders.
An obvious but acceptable choice.
Yeah, that's a bit more. They're getting more love. I swear, back in my youth, they didn't. I say that I'm only in my 20s.
Back in my day.
Yeah, back
in my day.
Who? Let's give me a quick rundown. Who's everyone else's favourites, very quickly?
Let's catch you up. I went White Scars.
Yeah. Okay. I'm interested to hear your sneakies.
Raven Guard, surprisingly enough.
Yep. Very surprised.
Although I will admit, a close second is the Death Corps of Krieg.
Yep.
Oh yes. Oh.
They're my brother's
so
own favourite. I think if I was slightly edgier, they'd be my favourite.
Way to just like hit every single like individual on 4chan, which is one massive swing. If I was edgier, just a succession of cracks round the head just happened.
Yeah,
I think you got a bit of our Discord too with that.
Wow.
I do love them. I just think they get enough love as it is, really. I don't know. Is anyone else here a fan of the actual just Imperial Guard, or not so much?
They were actually my starting army.
Brilliant, cool.
Imperial Guard are a very close second to me because apart from the whole "oh my god" Roman themes, I'm also a big fan of the regular grunts on the battlefields. So
everyone loves the Guard. No one wants to be in it.
If I could be in the Harakoni Warhawks, sign me up.
You'd still die. You're left behind enemy lines.
Probably, but at least I'll die a glorious death with my grav chute failing and me smacking into the ground 100 miles an hour.
Well, with 8th edition, you don't have to worry about grav chute failures anymore. Thank you, Lord Gilliman. The more you know.
Bamboozled by my own spiritual liege.
Alright, so...
So what's this question may have already come up, but what makes the Imperial Guard? What about them makes you like them, really?
Because they're just regular humans that are that are fighting and killing things, that manage to kill dudes with 2 hearts, pumped full of steroids, and a literal automatic rocket launcher.
They have an overbeefed laser pointer with a bayonet stuck on it, and they're trying to bash off demons and Hulk mushrooms. That's pretty A-baller in my book.
It's humanity
Probably.
fuck, yeah. That's,
Yeah.
Everything in all the non-human, non-guard factions are so overhyped as this thing is incredibly deadly to the normal person. And then there you have normal people still trying anyways. It's the bravery that captures a lot of people. Or the Commissar for the people who prefer edge to...
I want to rule over people!
I
there's some Commissars.
Die by the billions on a daily basis, but hey, whatever works.
It's a working...
If you can't kill them with Space Marines, drown them in the blood of the Guardsmen.
Have you guys actually heard the story of my guardsman who took on a bloodthirster?
You have mentioned this before, but do repeat.
Okay, so I was playing a game of guard with a Knight Titan versus demons. And so the player had just killed this guy's entire squad just with the missile salvo of his own Knight Titan. And he was the sole survivor. And then he had a bloodthirster who nothing else was in range. So he was like, fuck it. I'm going to charge your guardsman. Just take him out of his misery. He's probably fucking terrified. So this bloodthirster charges this lone guardsman. Just misses everything. And then, this was in 7th Ed back when there was initiative, by the way. So the guardsman then attempted to swing, hit, rolled to wound, and he got the wound off. It was the armor save that stopped it. So basically, he hit strong enough to hurt it. It was just the armor went ding. But so this lone guardsman managed to keep this bloodthirster in combat for a whole turn because he then whiffed again the next time. So this guardsman just locked this bloodthirster out of the game for a turn. And yeah, he died eventually, but it was actually a narrative game. So because it was just so amazing to us, we actually made it in the story that the guard lost, but the hero of the planet held off the leading bloodthirster so long we managed to evacuate most of the civilians.
Dope.
Very cool.
Reminds me of that 1d4 chan with the whole the story of that guardsman who kills Karn the Betrayer with a brick.
I remember this, yes. There's also Grendel. Grendel's worth mentioning in that regard.
Do you want to know my most eye-browsing moment of the lore?
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Do you guys consider the Dawn of... I know Games Workshop does, or at least it did. Do you consider Dawn of War to be canon?
It is canon.
It's a nice side story, so yes.
Dawn of War? I'm lacking. What's this?
Dawn of War is a popular RTS set in the Warhammer universe.
I think you heard Dawn of War, Aegis.
Yeah, I heard Dawn of War as in the Primarch.
Yeah, I know, Dawn of War.
Oh, okay.
Right,
okay.
Yeah, sorry, no, the video game. Well, I finished Dawn of War 3 yesterday, and it had such a... I don't know, weird. It was just it was basically, I don't want to spoil it, but it basically became like a group of friends, like at the end of an anime, where everyone worked out their differences and fought together against a common goal, and it was just really weirdly done. It wasn't like they had to do it. It wasn't like it was out of necessity. It was just like, let's be friends now. And Gabriel Angelos, what happened to you? You poor fool.
Did you play that final mission on twitch.tv/Stevicus?
I did indeed, Inky. Thank you for asking.
Very subtle, very subtle.
Free advertising.
I'm good at plugs, don't you worry.
You are, aren't you? I think you've done it a few times for me.
Chaplain Diomedes is my favorite character.
Still don't know why he's Chaplain now.
He's pretty cool. Yeah, they didn't really explain that, I don't think. Unless... Well, there are books. There are novel versions of the game, so I don't know if if it makes more sense in the books.
I don't think so,
story.
but I think it's mainly... I think that it made Diomedes a chaplain on the basis of, you've been partaking in the purification of keeping the chapter clean, or how to put it, so congratulations. We have new office spots open for you.
Oh, God. I
see.
I mean...
He does a good job on his...
I haven't gotten to the ending of Dawn of War 3, and that does sound kind of out of character, outlying when you don't need to, but I am confident the game's going to get expansions, which will hopefully have more story, because they got to get those other races in there. They're just sitting on loads of money if they don't release some of the other races.
They have a teaser. There are different faction models already in the game. They have to release the other factions. If they don't,
well, the only reason I think why they wouldn't is that the game, even though I think it sold decently enough after the initial release sales, it's kind of flopped a bit. And interestingly, the race they tease in the post-credit scene at the end of the game, I won't say what it was, isn't a race you see in the game at all. So obviously in the earlier missions you see the Imperial Guard and...
I almost see it the other way, like if it probably fell short of their expectations, so they probably need to release that to wheedle some more out of the game.
Possibly, yeah. It depends how much it's a revenue versus cost thing, isn't it? And it'd be Sega who make that decision, not the developers themselves.
In the end, it's the publisher holding all the cash, so it will be on Sega's head to decide if anything extraordinarily more happens. I'm fairly sure that the development team are...
I hope so, I hope it does.
I'm fairly sure the dev team are pushing that, saying to Sega, like, the community are asking for more content in regards to the other factions of the Warhammer universe. Can we please do this? So...
And also, just one more slight little rant. What happens right at the end of Dawn of War 3 in the cutscene is so stupid if you're an Eldar or a human. It doesn't make any sense why they do what they do. I can't say what it was because I don't want to ruin it. But it's really...
Yeah. Having played the ending of Dawn of War 3,
Well, it's like, why do they... I'll mention it to you guys later, the guys who have played it.
Of course,
I'll stop.
If you'd like to know more about our opinions on Dawn of War 3, you could just head on over to our YouTube channel, where episode 2 we actually dedicated to the 40k video. So that's probably your best bet.
Yes.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, we did. Unfortunately, you weren't there.
Alright.
Which was a travesty.
That one too, yeah.
I did piece the audio together, but I didn't actually listen to it.
I mean, why would you? Why would you?
So, I did notice on on the previous stream, there wasn't much Eternal Crusade talk. Were you saving that for a whole podcast of its own?
I mean, we were just hoping to put you in a room
game?
and just let you go, see what happened.
Just a room with me screaming.
Now
Eternal Crusade.
wait.
Orcs OP re.
Well, Eternal Crusade is the only game in which I can say I got sniped by an orc in 2 shots and be entirely serious.
That's a sneaky get.
That is sneaky.
No, not even sneaky.
Sneakier than the Beaky.
Halfway across the map. Like, Ace Daka is so goddamn ridiculous. Because it kills you in 2 hits. For some reason, accurate as all hell.
For some reason,
I'm bullshit against orcs too.
I'm reminded of that fan comic of the Emperor's Greenest, when basically there's this orc warboss dressed up as a commissar going to take out the target quietly, and the orcs just go blasting full auto with a machine gun, yelling "Sog you!" and hits a guy in the head. That's their idea of sniping.
Right.
Look, as an Inquisitor, I refuse to comment on the validity of orc snipers. And the fact that Inquisitorial agents were in the area is entirely circumstantial.
But can we get a comment on orc nipples, Inquisitor?
Yeah.
I believe didn't we open last time with orc nipples, and you said it was true, Sneaky?
That was the very first one.
Yeah, no, that's where it came up. But then I think Sneaky opened the second podcast with "We've confirmed it's true." Yeah. Was that the only one that paid attention to the podcast?
Probably.
If you look in the description of the episode 2, you will see that I put a link to a orc autopsy that shows that they do indeed have nipples.
Terrifying.
Hashtag free the orc nipple.
Oh god.
That's something nobody wants to see.
In an attempt to retain some sort of sanity, can I complain about the white scars?
Sure.
Yes, please.
I'm continuously upset, and all of you have heard this because I constantly rant about it. But it's got so much worse. So has anyone actually read the 8th ed updated fluff with the new Space Marine Codex came out?
I have not.
Vague points.
No.
So they gave little updates to what all of the founding legions have been up to, and so along the lines of the Imperial fists, basically fight in big bloody battles with Perturabo and this, that, and the other. Would you like to know what the White Scars did? They were besieged by the fucking pirates. The entirety of Chogoris was just besieged, and they were losing until Kosaro Khan shows up. Then Gulliman shows up and saves us with the magic of his wonderful Space Marines within Space Marines. Then we apparently decide, let's go take a space station. And the space station, basically, the doors close, it blows up, and we lose our chapter master and his bodyguards, which have been around since the Horus Heresy, the Keshig. That is quite literally everything we've got. I have been complaining because the White Scars get no love and no fluff, and what do we get? They just kill off our chapter master. Yeah, they just kill our chapter master.
Sorry.
Goodbye, Jubad Khan. We didn't even know you existed until now.
Oh god. It sounds like they're probably planning a White Scars campaign where a bunch of new models and Rule of Cool and get all the new kids.
I doubt it, but what I'm 100% expecting is Kosaru Khan is going to be made into the Chapter Master in the same way Shrike did. And it's going to piss me the fuck off because I liked him as Master of the Hunt because it was like, oh, an actual unique rank. It was something different about the White Scars that wasn't gotta go fast. Now we're just gonna... He's a Chapter Master now. And then, Jakatai will come back. But that will be okay.
It's the perfect opportunity to present, as Aegis mentioned, a new campaign for the White Scars with some new Chapter Master getting to prove his mettle. So,
to be fair, like the White Scars haven't exactly not been prevalent and stuff because they were part of Damocles Gulf. They were mentioned with Cadia and everything, and the Indominus Crusade. Like they've been involved in everything. It's just we never hear any actual information about them. Like I continuously joke with Sneaky, the White Scars have one bit of fluff, one battle, which is the hunt for Voldornis, and we share it with the Raven Guard, who we arbitrarily hate for no defined reason. So yeah, we have a.
Actually, there is a reason.
Yeah, the reason
for the... Well, no, but the reason for it, that is canon at least, is that the Raven Guard are very quiet and taciturn and reserved, whereas the White Scars...
Bikes are loud.
Right. Yeah. They gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
Yeah, it was basically summed up along the lines of, we both kind of do the same thing, but we do it differently, and ergo we are rivals. Like, no, the White Scars never even really interacted with the Raven Guard. The White Scars did their own thing, the entire heresy. It's not like the Wolves and the Lion, the Dark Angels, who have like a legitimate feud. But it's just kind of arbitrarily decided, yeah, we don't get along. Oh, okay, sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though. I think there's a founding chapter with little less love than the White Scars, Iron Hands.
I would have agreed with you up until the fact they got an entire supplement to themselves.
They did?
Yes, they got Clan Rurakan. And they had an entire thing about this guy like reformulating the chapter and their belief system, and it kind of brought them on par with everyone else. They still don't have much in the way of like special characters or anything, but they got a supplement to themselves. So in terms of fluff, I disagree. The White Scars are just kind of left to their own devices.
Now, having not actually picked up the Space Marine Codex yet, because I don't have, $50 to drop on a book. Has the Raven Guard been up to anything interesting lately?
Let me grab my Kindle.
Oh.
Story time with Inky.
Story time with Inky.
Story time with Inky.
Talk among yourselves while I load up the book. I try not to accidentally play sea shanties.
Today on BBC Two.
Today, in The Secret Life of 4-Year-Olds. It's a show on BBC 3, where they follow around 4-year-olds in preschool, and it's absolutely adorable.
So it's
not
creepy.
It's
not
wait,
is it with or without consent?
Hang on a squig.
Do we have to?
Never mind. Go on. My brain has already tossed it out.
Okay.
I'm looking at this picture you put up, Sneaky, regarding orc nipples. No, I'm not a doctor, but I can't actually see any nipples.
I can. I will point it out to you. Right after...
He spent
by the way, I found
3 hours looking at orc nipples. I honestly began to think mine weren't sufficient.
That might be my new favourite statement. I'm not a doctor, but I can't see the nipples.
I see it.
Okay, now that other people are seeing it, let me have another look. Is it not what I'd expect?
Let me go find orc nipples.
I'll save you the trouble.
Alright, shall I leave out the Ultramarines, given we kind of know their stuff?
Yeah, we don't need to know more about them.
Alright, so White Scars, it leads into the Imperial Fists.
White Scars?
Who thought it was a sensible idea to click on the fucking YouTube like the Tig put into the chat?
No, I found the White Scars anthem. Please continue.
So, the Imperial Fist. So, we obviously have the 13th Black Crusade and the fact that Be'lakor decided to raid the Phalanx, which was part of the fall of Cadia. At that point, an Imperial Fist strike force aids the rescue of Robote Guilliman after his faithful voyage to Luna, helping to drive back the pursuing forces of the Chaos God Tzeentch and ensure the Ultramarines Primarch completes his pilgrimage. Imperial Fists help crush a demon army that dares to invade Terra, which, by the way, is fucking metal as anything, because Khorne gets so salty he explodes like 7 of his most elite bloodthirsters out of rage. The Imperial Fists distinguish themselves during the initial stages of the Indominus Crusade, and then, seeking vengeance against the Iron Warriors for the damage wrought upon the Phalanx, the Imperial Fists attack one of the traitor's newly fortified worlds of Ironhold. Aided by 3 Cadian armies and several knightly houses that likewise escaped the destruction of Cadia, the Imperial forces penetrate all 8 layers of the defensive positions and lay waste to every one of the Iron Warriors' edifices. So they just kind of wreck the Imperial Warrior shit. Yes, they penetrate 8 thick layers. Oh baby. Then it leads into Crimson Fists, which, as I remember, they specifically got praise from Guilliman, along the lines of, you know what, Dorne really would have liked you, Pedro Cator, because you haven't stopped, not trying to kill everything, despite the fact they're doing it. But otherwise haven't really done a whole lot. They're back up to full strength because of the Primaris. Black Templars. Here we go. They were part of the Defense of Curadia. Then there was the Shrine World Crusades. So after the Great Rift, the Black Templars, now having Primaris, send forth 4 Crusade fleets tasked with the same mission: protect the Shrine Worlds. So Aurelia, Ophelia 8, Dascus, and Ortec 3 Crusades. Confronted with renegades, cultists, and demons beyond count, they prove equal to the task despite great losses. And then they set out to put down a cultist army of a planet-wide rebellion on the hive world of Krostein. The renegade sorcerers' leaders escape the initial strikes, hide in the densely populated hive cities where they summon demons. The Black Templars battle through the narrow Manufactorum streets, find their foe, or replace as quickly as they can be slain. In a true test of faith and dedication, they are forced to completely exterminate the local population in order to overcome the threat. So, Black Templars being Black Templars, burn everything down.
Fair.
And then speaking of burning everything down, the Salamanders.
Yeah!
So they were part of the Second War of Armageddon, and then it leads into the Great Rift. So the warp storms that emanate darken the entire Logos system, and in the ensuing maelstrom, the bloodthirster Khazkul and his Rage Legion materialize to slaughter and enslave the world's populations. It is the Salamanders in chapter strength that arrive to halt their avatar rituals. Smashing through the walls of the blood factories are waves of repulsor tanks, followed by mass aggressor squads who wash all with purifying fire. The Salamanders work their way hive by hive, planet by planet, freeing those who can be liberated and avenging those who cannot. And Sneaky's happiness, we are into the Raven Guard. They actually look like they've been up to a little bit. So I'm not sure when this starts, but because the other ones all have dates, but there is the Heraclad Massacre. The Dark Eldar of the Cabal of the Black Blade fall upon the city, and instead they find the city evacuated and the Raven Guard 1st and 6th companies lying in ambush. By dawn, the Cabal is destroyed. That's pretty fucking dope, actually.
Indeed.
Shrike and the 3rd company are cut off behind enemy lines when the transport is destroyed, and that's Shrike becoming relevant. Shrike redeploys to Quintus to counter Alpha Legion, and that's Corsaro Khan and the Hunt for Voldonis. A fruitless search and destroy mission against Raven Guard forces, Dark Apostle Erikit's wordbearers return to the Fortress of Damnation, find it in the hands of Raven Guard scouts. Faced with the Bastion's firepower, they attempt to withdraw, the escape routes cut off, and Storm Ravens surround them. High Feet Leviathan invades Lonal to face stiff resistance from the Dark Hunters. Unbeknownst to their brother chapter, the Raven Guard also deploy, using the Dark Hunters as bait in an elaborate trap that slays a dozen Hive tyrants. That's kind of a dick move. You just didn't tell your cousins that you're showing up.
I mean,
I hate it. I hate it when that happens.
dick move, but effective.
Agreed. Then it mentions fighting the Tau, so the chapter master, Corvin Servax, dying along with most of the 3rd company. And then Shrike becomes chapter master. And then when I don't even know how you pronounce it, Syphilis, mining world rich. Yeah, okay, I'm rolling with Syphilis. When Syphilis, a mining world rich in Promethium, falls into the hands of renegades and night lords, it is unknown whether the traitor force will exploit the resources or merely deny them by setting the world alight. Before the foe can react, however, the Raven Guard are upon them. In chapter strength, the Sons of Korak strike. Reaver squads deploy via grav chutes to seize power plants, while interceptor squads secure rig spires, dueling enemy assault troops atop the miles-high platforms above the Promethean seas. Chapter Master Strikes leads so many Thunderhawk drop assaults that it appears to foes he is in many places simultaneously. In shock of the suddenness of the attack, the Night Lords flee, leaving their renegade and cultist allies to be hunted down and slain. Within weeks, the planet becomes the first of many worlds across the Segmentum Tempestus to be so liberated by the stealthiest of Space Marine chapters. Yes, exceptionally stealthy, just ramming Thunderhawks at them so often that they don't know where you are. That is the epitome of stealth.
I see nothing wrong with this.
Yeah, this works.
Hey, that's how
Iron
I
Hands.
use stealth. There's no one to notice you if there are no witnesses.
No witnesses.
Well, and here's the thing to notice, is that the reason that they're stealthy is because the Raven Guard ships, as noted in Deliverance Lost, they can go completely invisible.
Well, that wasn't 30k to be fair.
Yes, 30k, but then again, do battle cruisers really not last 10,000 years?
Well, alright, fair enough. Their battleships probably could, but I think along the lines of Thunderhawks. But yeah.
Well,
I mean, there can be a point, too, where you commit to something so much that you give up still. I'm not saying they would, but there can be a point where you're like, I want this so bad, it's just fuck stealth and balls to the walls.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, and there was an event in the book Shrike, where, and I'm going to spoil the book for anyone who hasn't read it and wants to. So
Spoiler alert!
Yep, spoiler alert for Shrike.
Evacuate your children!
There is a point where throughout the book, Shrike and his men stick to stealth, right? That's the majority of the book. At the end of it, however, when they approach the Orc Warboss that keeps taunting them, Shrike decides, fuck it, I am going to deploy the entire goddamn chapter on this Orc. Essentially, their version of the World Engine, an Orc-constructed planet, which is basically just a fuck ton of asteroids that have giant boosters on them that got smashed together. So Shrike deploys just the entire goddamn chapter out of nowhere and kills everything he sees. He then challenges the Orc Warboss to a one-on-one fight. He loses as he expects, but what he does is buys time for 6 other Raven Guardsmen to come up from behind the Orc Warboss and impale him at the same time. I mean,
do you know how hard I'm biting my tongue not to make the impaled joke?
God damn it, please don't.
Shall I save everyone with Iron Hands? Because I mean, none of us care about the Iron Hands.
Hey, you shut your mouth, girl.
Raven Guards fight dirty, and I like that.
I like big mechanites, and I cannot lie.
Varys Manus did nothing wrong.
This is true, but his sons are idiots and completely misunderstood what he wanted.
I mean, how would you feel if your dad was a ghost?
I'm not even going to attempt the Vulcan accent in an actual recording, because that will come back to bite me.
I don't know.
You are weak, Vulcan. You are
weak, Corvus. I am aware.
Thank you, Ferris, I am aware.
Yes, Iron Warrior, or not Iron Warriors, that was Iron Hands.
Heretic!
So, as the 13th Black Crusade threatens Cadia, Medusa falls under attack. The Iron Hands fight perhaps the largest armor battle in the galaxy since the Battle of Talorn during the Horus Heresy. Inner fortitude and the extreme firepower of their mobile fortresses ensure they emerge battered yet victorious. The last of the attackers abandon their war machines and flee into the raging warp storms released by the Great Rift. Then they launch the Scorched Earth Crusade, which sounds incredibly wholesome. The warp storms that rolled out of the Great Rift finally depart the Sicilian system, leaving behind corruption untold. With the recent reinforcements of Primera Space Marines, they launch a full-scale attack that cleanses the system's heavily populated worlds. Behind solid wedges of repulsor tanks, they advance systematically, leaving only ruin behind them. And seeing the Chaos Powers heavily fortify the previously barren world of Umbrus, they suspected guards a hidden passage through the Citrix Maledictum, the great rift that separates Medusa and the galactic north from the holy light of the Astronomicon. In rotating shifts, the clan bring their armoured might to bear, besieging the fortresses that guard in an unusual gateway built into the mountainsides. With no defence able to withstand the pressures exerted, the heretics' fortifications fall, the lines break, the renegades escape through the mysterious passage, and as the Iron Hands move to pursue, explosive charges destroy the portal. And then the Iron Hands join a vast Imperial force in the Stygius Crusade, winning back much territory, and eventually retreating as the darkness grows thicker around them. And that is pretty much it. That's your up-to-date.
Thank you with the extra commentary from Seagull.
Yeah, pretty much.
This has been story time with Inky.
Guys, I still can't see the
Thank you,
nipple.
Chaos.
You're welcome.
So yeah, I mean that is essentially everything that has happened with the big 8, as it were, with the exception obviously of the Space Wolves and the Blood Angels, and the Dark Angels, because they're not real.
Neat.
Yeah, so there you go. And we'll be getting Chaos Fluff and Grey Knights Fluff soon. Also, we're getting a book set through the eyes of Abaddon, trying to unite the Chaos hosts.
Very cool.
Because you would think he'd have done this already because he's in the middle of a Black Crusade, but what the fuck do I know?
Yeah.
I haven't destroyed Cadia.
So, guys, give me a clue. On what part of this picture is the nipple?
It's the circle.
Tip circled it.
Neatly circled, man.
Yeah.
Okay, F. Figure 1, figure 4.
No.
It's literally the dead
Tib has
body,
posted it with-
the entire
Tib-
body of the orc, and
Tib
the
has
red
Click it for a
circle
bigger
is
view.
around the nipple.
I want to point out our audience has no idea
Interesting.
what's being said here.
We'll flash.
can
we'll
include
flash
it in the YouTube
We'll flash.
cut.
We'll flash the picture up, and then everyone can go in the comments and tell me how stupid I am.
Yes.
Or that
literally.
you're right. It's one of the two.
Oh no! Wait, I see it.
Yes.
That's very
Based
far
on
to the
nipple.
left, isn't it?
I made a very informative pictograph.
Very.
Oh wait.
It's basically a minute used in MS Paint. I'm proud of it.
See, now that's all I can see.
I mean, what else do you need to see with an orc beside its nipple?
Why would an orc need nipples? They don't.
You're asking the right
Squigs?
questions, but
Is it
Congratulations.
like a squig feeding thing?
Have you?
Oh god. Are squigs and Ven like orc related?
so, sorry.
Or are they just some subservient
I heard
alien?
are squigs and what related?
Are squigs and orcs related? Or are
Yes.
they just like some subservient? Okay.
They are. This is again story time with Inky. Squigs are essentially orc spores actually kind of breed in very particular time frames. The first thing that comes out, if I remember right, is snotlings, then squigs. The snotlings tend the squigs, and then Gretchen, then orcs. And there is basically squigs are orcoids, and there is a shitload of them depending on what they do. Because fun fact, an orc's hair is actually a squig. It's literally a squig that you like attach to your head, and you can dye it. They have hair squigs.
That is a fun fact.
And they
Ooh,
have
it's
like
okay.
squigs that they put in their mouth and run around and clean them. They clean the teeth. So there's all these different squigs, and they're also used for food.
There's food squigs, there's carrot squigs, there are war squigs. We
Hair
need
squigs,
this.
teeth squigs.
I know there's ones with beaks.
Yep, parrot squigs.
And they.
For the
Yes,
freebooters.
it. Yep.
What about the giant armored dinosaur looking thing?
Those are squig
that
offs,
just
which
a-
I believe are a subset of squig. Yeah.
I was about to
Okay.
say that was a Power Ranger.
The vampire squig is a blood-sucking creature.
Oh god, I want to make
Sounds
like
like my
a
ex-wife.
orc Power Ranger themed army now.
Wow.
I've never been married.
I think that you had to
Red
clarify.
Those bastards.
Go go Power Warboss, do 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 do.
There you
Oi,
go.
power gates, combine!
So hang on, who would the villain be?
The
The
Imperium?
villain?
Uh,
Isn't
I guess
it
so.
obvious it would be Magnus as much as I love him?
Some
but he
commissar or
looks
inquisitor who
exactly
screams
like-
menacingly.
oh, Commissar
He looks-
Yorick, he's the villain.
Oh no, fuck no, Yarrick would kill him. Well,
but
remember, because
what?
like Yarrick killed an orc that they thought was unkillable, so now they think that Yarrick is even more unkillable and even more killy. So orcs are fucking terrified of Yarrick.
Ah,
This
yes.
is a comedy setting, like
Ah,
Power
yes.
Rangers perpetually against Rita.
Yes, but you see,
Nothing's really resolved.
you see, Sneaky, the orcs are so afraid of Yorick, they need the power orcs to stop him. And because they're being orcs, whenever the power orcs get killed by Yorick, they just generate new power orcs.
Pretty much.
I like that in every podcast I've been in so far, there is a point where I question why I'm spending an hour doing this. We've hit that point.
This is not canon, by the way.
It will be. We're going to make it.
Damn it.
We're going to make Power Orcs.
Yes.
We've committed this far. A Warhammer 40K Humour production.
We're gonna make our own orc warband with blackjack and
hooker.
squigs.
In fact, forget
Everyone gets assigned a color and they paint that mini.
Oh, no. We're doing full live action movie.
Yep.
It's committed now.
Oh
but
my god!
But we also have to have the knockoff Japanime.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh my
the
god!
epilepsy-
I want a Warhammer 40k humor anime. It'd be the worst thing in the world.
Yes.
With all the epilepsy segments.
I can't just exist
Like
to
Italia
reference
style.
So one thing I did want to talk about really quick though,
Getting us
and
back on track.
I
You
would
had a plan.
I would like to make this a recurring segment for future notice. We'll call it This Week in 40k.
Ah yes.
Where we review some stuff that's happened. So the Alpha Legion and some other Chaos chapters have gotten their tactics released and stratagems and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
A few of them are outright identical to their Loyalist counterparts, like the Alpha Legion, which were released today. Their rule is identical to the Raven Guard. The Iron Warriors is identical to the Imperial Fists. Yep. Some are a bit more unique, like the Ward Bearers and their cultists. The Alpha Legion actually does have a really cool stratagem called I Am Alfarius, which basically means that if you want to do the Slay the Warlord achievement thing, you need to kill every single Alpha Legion character on the enemy team.
Yeah, it's
because they are all Alfarius.
It's a warlord trait, but it's even better than it was last time because it used to just be in the like expanded chaos armies. You just had that, and then it would jump. You now get this as well as another warlord trait, which is just downright disgusting.
Plot twist: someone brings an entire Alpha Legion warband
Two
to
for the price of one.
Pretty much.
See, I'm just disgusted
also,
by Black Crusaders.
Yeah, there's also some new stuff available for pre-order, like Inceptors are going to be coming up soon with the Plasma. What did they call them?
Pistol-y things.
The Plasma Exterminators is what they call the Inceptors with dual plasma pistols. Intercessors are also available to pre-order, as well as some other new units that are coming out soon. They also have announced a Ultramarines upgrade kit for Primaris, which I think is completely unnecessary, because they already have transfers for the Ultramarines with every single purchase.
We should now allow 10 seconds for the audience to read.
Pretty much.
Oh god, that's gonna sound delightful on the audio.
Did you cover that what was for pre-orders now available as well? The Redemptor that might have been more than a week ago, but
yes, the Redemptor Dreadnought, the Guns on Wheels is also available to purchase.
That Chaplain,
and
bro.
the Chaplain, oh my god, so good.
Look,
the
right,
Chaplain.
I have one friend in Belfast who likes this back in a bit.
They've also announced some new terrain, which looks pretty interesting. It's basically some foliage-themed terrain, as well as a sentient tree terrain. And they've also announced essentially a box with 340 different skulls. 340 different skulls. Looking at what they have right now, there's some giant-ass Tyranid skulls, there's some giant skulls, a bunch of demon skulls, various human skulls. There's a Raven skull. I could use that to convert a Raven Guard chaplain, because Raven Guard chaplains wear Raven helmets, giant Raven skull helmets from these giant ravens called rocks. Pretty cool shit.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about purchasing terrain from Games Workshop?
I'm not opposed to it.
No, I'm certainly not opposed to it, but I remember when I was a bit younger, when I was more focused on the tabletop, I typically went to like pet shops and shit and bought like stuff for aquariums.
Really?
And it did the job for me.
Their stuff's usually pretty overpriced, and it's easier to do that, and it's already painted too.
Yeah.
And
that's how I would do it, but I'm lazy.
Also, one should not limit themselves to just Games Workshop terrain, because there are several different other tabletop-esque games with their own set of terrains and stuff.
It's a fantastic point.
I don't even think Games Workshop limits you using their models specifically for their games, but I don't even think they do that for terrain. Just because if you want to have like a unique event or a unique game, like you gotta be able to have more than just their terrain. Otherwise, it gets so stale.
I have noticed a large a large increase in advertisements regarding tabletop terrain recently as well, which is rather pleasant to see. There's been several Kickstarters and huge campaigns on Facebook for several third-party terrain makers to release their own. There's building kits that's basically almost like a slightly more complex version of Lego that you snap together to make your own building terrains. There's of course several people doing commissions on painting terrain, so I'm looking forward to seeing more tabletops in the future.
Yep. I'm just gonna hit whatever we're talking about. Yeah, apologies I had to disappear. I love yous, but I was being offered ice cream.
Oh.
Families. So
Yeah.
I had to.
Get ice
understand
cream.
that.
I know my father's away to go fetch it from the parlor, so it's just very, very snazzy in this particular fucking third world European country.
I think where you are is slightly more developed than France was. So
Belfast.
Listen.
Where in France were you?
I mean, they eat snails, but they speak English. But y'all speak English.
Wait for the spin-off of Inky and Chaos talking about real shit.
That should be a
dark
thing.
time.
That
Yep.
should be a thing. We should just record our conversations.
It would go terribly.
It would be a shitfest.
I'd listen. I'd watch it.
You'd listen because it would have something to do with you, Stevie.
Maybe.
Yes.
I find it interesting that they apparently haven't managed to shift the Primaris editions of the Codex Space Marines.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's still for sale. Apparently there's less than 500 left. I guess there wasn't that many people who wanted to spend £150.
Strange.
Shocked.
Why would
Alright,
you?
guys, well...
Shocked and shook.
It was a good discussion, but I gotta go. Real world calls, unfortunately.
Alright, brother,
Okay.
thanks for stopping by.
I propose we kill the real world, but it's fine. If you gotta go, buddy.
Yeah.
Send a Christmas
guys.
card sometime.
Bye, just.
Will do.
Total Script Square.
Later.
I mean, yeah. What are we talking about? We've gone so far off the track. We're into multi-track drifting at this point. What?
So, Sneaky was talking about the new terrain Games Workshop are releasing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to get back on that, Sneaky? Do you have anything else to talk about this week?
Not so far. Nothing that comes to mind, especially. I probably will buy that box of 340 skulls at some point just to get that one Raven skull that I can slap on a mini.
That sounds economic.
Pretty much.
He
I'm
would
fairly
do
sure.
it too.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I'm fairly sure, though, Sneak, if you do a little digging, you might. Oh wait, you're talking about giving a chaplain a raven skull.
Yes.
Hmm.
See, I was thinking about just painting a Beaky helmet, but honestly, I don't think that would turn out terribly well.
You want an OG thing?
Yes.
If your
Yes.
literal Beaky chaplain doesn't run around yelling "Nevermore," did you do it right?
No.
See?
No, he's gonna have a banner that says Nevermore on it.
Yeah, I think really the big releases is gonna be the fact we're getting the Chaos Space Marine and Grey Knights Codex up for pre-order very, very soon. So it's good.
Yep.
It's good to see that we're not going to be stuck in what we talked about last time, which was there's going to be this period of Space Marines essentially defining everything. So that's pretty good to hear.
Yes.
You know, we're
And
gonna.
I believe the codex coming out after this double release is probably going to be the Death Guard.
You think so?
I would assume. I do think so, actually. Yeah.
I
Also, and for those
I
of you who
don't.
don't know, they've also really.
I have heard things from a friend who usually has sources, and I've mentioned this in the chat. I think we're going to get a Legion of the Damned dex. I think that transmission is pretty indicative. Whether or not it's next, I don't know. But
Okay.
because they're obviously going and trying to release more and more of the Primarchs, we know we're getting Mortarion, probably the second last week of the Fate of Connor campaign. Allegedly, Ferrus Manus is next, and he will be leading the Legion of the Damned.
That could be very interesting.
So, as to when he would fall in the release schedule, I don't know, but this is the rumours I'm hearing. There's also apparently rumours of squats coming back.
Haven't the rumors been that squats has been coming back for quite a while?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard that my entire life.
No, but
even though I think they were out when I was a
the
kid.
Warhammer community transmission. So this is what was relayed to me: is people have been looking at the numbers and stuff that pop up, and all the numbers correspond to squat release dates. So that's why people are like,
interesting.
Oh, it's like I'm willing to bet that it's either just a happy coincidence or they're doing it to fuck with us. But I don't see the squats coming back.
Considering
no, I don't.
Considering most game developers and stuff, I'm going with second option. Look at this cool Easter egg, guys!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about those things that I always think are squats, but they're not? The demigod,
the Tau
yeah,
vassal
the
race.
Tau. Yeah, the Tau dwarf.
They just exist.
Pretty much. Where we get a full-on army for them, eh? Where's the demigod codex?
I mean, I would want Kroot and Vespid first, but sure, why not?
Also, where's the Crabman codex?
I mean, I've an important question.
It is. I was on the Reddit, and there's a book called, I think it was just called Space Marine. It was one from the 90s. And in that book, they find a ship that's come from outside the galaxy that was fleeing the Tau. And it was like a Crabman.
Rogue Trader era was fucking interesting. Actually, no, hang on. The 90s was after Rogue Trader. Oh, there's no excuse then. I'd imagine that'd probably be like a proto of the Tyranids. In that case.
Well, no. Apparently, it was from it was meant to be someone. It was like it was setting up the whole. This is someone whose entire civilization has been destroyed by the Tyranids, and he was just fleeing. But I don't know how much. I don't know if that's even still canon.
This is the first I've ever heard of this. Hang on, 40k.
Yeah, it was new to me.
Right, we're putting that into Google.
Don't know if it's down Google.
Nope.
I don't know. It's Fedrid.
No,
that's not right. I'll do some research.
You can report back to us next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've never heard of Crabman.
Maybe I'm lying. No, I'm pretty sure
The dark gods are whispering in your ear, Stevie.
Whisper, whisper, whisper.
So interesting, because I'm on the Games Workshop site. Featured products: Abaddon the Spoiler, Huron Blackheart, Warpsmith, Dark Apostle, Obliterators, and a Chaos Space Marine Sorcerer. I think that would mean we're probably not getting new casts anytime soon, or maybe that means we are going to get new casts. Your silence is damning.
I'm sitting here paying attention for once.
I'm not paying attention.
Sorry, I'm looking for Crabman.
It is inferior to Crabman, I do concede.
Who is this unsung crab hero?
He stands at the Emperor's right side now.
In before he's a major plot character in the 8th edition.
Look, I would fucking love that. That'd be amazing. Just Stevie showing up in mod chat. I told you so.
Oh my god.
I'll do some research for next time. I'll do a small presentation on the Crabman.
Actually, this raises a fair point. Just Tib mentioning Cypher. I wonder if that's going to be developed, because I know tomorrow, in terms of the time of recording, we're getting the Renegade chapters and the Fallen, like chapter tactics, essentially Legion tactics. The last time we saw the Cypher and the Fallen, they had just escaped the Adeptus Custodes on Terra. Everyone on Terra now knew the Fallen existed, and Cypher was where he wanted to be. This seems like a major plot point that should be addressed. It's been like 100 years. Like, the Dominus Crusade is literally over, and it's been like 100 years. I want that plot point.
This may be something that should be addressed, but it's not going to be.
See if it isn't, I will fucking burn down Nottingham.
It feels like a saved master stroke for the whole plot. Because, I mean, I'm fairly sure there's a little bit of more meaty constructive things to do with the 8th edition lore, but Cypher is, as you mentioned, a pretty big deal.
I mean, what's a bigger deal than literally a dude who's potentially 10,000 years old showing up on Terra, which he's been trying to do for 10,000 years, with the Lion's Sword?
I don't know. As mentioned, I'm guessing he's probably a saved master stroke for the 8th edition lore. And a cipher deeply plunged his sword into the Emperor. Don't quote me on this, kids.
Translation chaos, don't make a joke out of this.
Oh, don't worry. That's what the YouTube comments are for. Should we wrap it up here?
I should probably.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think we should. I just wanted to make one last note. It has been confirmed that there is going to be a Thousand Suns Codex.
There's also, and a
Nice.
Death Guard one.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Thousand Suns and Death Guard. That's why they're not getting
they
Legion
kept
Tactics.
Yep, that's why they are not in the Chaos Space Marines book. Thousand Suns are getting their own book.
I wonder how comprehensive a book it's going to be.
I hope it'll be pretty comprehensive. It's interesting that those are the two chapters. They're my two brothers' favourite chapters.
Really?
Does your brother work for Games Workshop? Is your brother Matt Ward?
Strangely, he does. He's the No. No, I have two brothers. One loves the Thousand Suns, and the other one loves the Death Guard.
So which one of them is Matt Ward?
Both
Ultramarines
of them,
one.
they share
One
a
is
role.
Matt and one is Ward. Together
That's
they
it,
form
yeah.
Matt Ward.
Oh my god, it's like Alfarius and Omegon.
That's it.
Alright. I think we're running out of things to say.
We've reached that point where it all becomes pure shitpost.
We've resorted to like insinuating that your family is fucking Primarchs and or a fan fiction writer, essentially.
Say what you want about Matt Ward. Be careful. We're having him on the podcast next
Oh
week. so-
fuck!
Oh, shit.
I guess I'm
ruined.
off the cast then.
Yep.
I quit.
Yeah.
Inky, we have to...
We'll keep you away for that one.
Yep.
It's all right. We'll renegotiate my contract off screen.
Okay.
That's fair.
Sneaky, do you wanna lead us out, play us out?
Sure, why not?
I mean, you're the host.
So-
It's your job.
Yeah. Alright, well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for joining us at the Warhammer 40K Humour podcast. Feel free to follow us all on Twitch, Twitter, and on our Facebook page. Feel free to join our Discord. All of our links will be in the description below. And let's start with the outros. I have been your host, Sneaky Beaky, the resident Raven Guard player. Next, we have Lord Inquisitor 023.
Please put hashtag free Inky's cat into the comments so I don't have to come back next week. They won't let me go.
Shh! Quiet!
We
Get
have
in the cage!
Ah!
we have Tiberius.
No. It's been me, your resident Smurf.
Are you okay?
That's all, folks.
Tib, are you okay?
Nope.
10 out of 10.
Do you smell burning
Stroke.
toast, buddy?
Would recommend.
10 out of 10 would have a stroke again.
Tiberius is free for all of your public speaking events. Bar mitzvahs, christenings.
7-Eleven was an inside job.
Christ.
Next, we got Chaos Waifu.
I've been here. Yeah.
And you've made the podcast so much better for it.
I have.
You guys have been nailing it with the outros.
I'm a pure gem.
I didn't say that.
I wouldn't call you pure.
Don't push your luck.
Heretic.
I love you all.
And last and most certainly least, we have Stevicus.
Yep. Cheers, guys.
You're not worthy.
Sorry it took me so long to find the nipples. Fran complains about that too. But Hugh.
But yeah, thanks for stopping by, guys. Feel free to like, comment for next week's topic in the comment section below. Feel free to subscribe to get updates and be the first to watch our 40K updates and podcasts. And until next guy, guys, may the Emperor be with you and may Slanesh provide.
Do-do-do-do.
Bye.